there are particular men who say, I am my own man. Now, let me say this, let me weigh this, and this is just my opinion. Most of the men who make those comments are Gen Xers. Why? Gen Xers were raised by the sleepers, the sleeping, the silent generation. Yeah. All right. So what happened is they were raised in such a very, very harsh economic times. So they're the ones who, Gen Xers are the ones who walked to school for 5-10 kilometers. They're the ones who cycled to school. You know, they really had a hard time growing up. They're the ones who went to polling stations because at that time,
not schools,
polling stations.
These are the 55 to 60,
to
65.
60s, yes.
Yeah.
So the problem is they have made a resolution in their hearts that I will not allow my children to go through what I went through. So that is why we right now we are seeing the highest, the age where there's highest corruption is between 50 to 65. They're about to, you know. I know, we will not mention names. But corruption is highest in that age. Yeah. Why? Because they want to amass a lot of wealth so that their children don't have to go through what they went through. Now, these are the parents to the Gen Zs. So because of that, one of the things that is coming out so clearly is they are not present. So they give them everything, but they're not present. So why the issues that we have right now is Gen Xers were silent when there was so much injustice. And so because they were silent then, now they're amassing wealth the illegal way. Again, we will not mention names. So their children are the ones who have rebelled. All right? They have rebelled. And now Gen Zs, their children will be Gen Beta. All right?
Yes.
From 2025
yes.
To
around 2040.
2040 there. Those will be the children now of Gen Zs.
Yes.
Now we need to have these conversations that like the ones that we're having now, because the problem that we'll face is crazy, because if you hear the conversations that the Gen Zs are having, they're saying, I won't get married. Marriage does not work.
Yeah, by the way, whenever
work.
I sit in a meeting and I ask guys, so what is your plan for the future, getting married? As in this case, Gen Zs, most of them have a plan for where they're going to work, which country they live in, how much they're going to earn, the career that they'll be in. And then you ask, okay, what's your plan for family? And somebody goes blank. They're like, we'll see.
It's because they have seen that, marriages and family setup did not work for their parents. Because remember, Gen Xers were busy, stealing. Allow me to excuse my language. They were stealing.
Or amassing wealth. Whichever way.
From whatever and however. So what happens is the family setup broke down. So they didn't see a present dad. They didn't see their dad loving on their mom. But they had everything. They went to the group of schools, because their parents are achieving that which they said our children will not go through what. But now they have caused more harm in the sense that they have not seen the aspect of family. They have not seen a family altar raised. They've not seen their dad lead in prayer. They've not seen their dad, lead in devotions. They've not seen their dad, pray for them and call out greatness.
Is that why most of the time in churches we have more women than men?
Exactly.
Or is that...
It's something that I'm very passionate about men.
Yeah.
And there's an issue because our churches are becoming feminized. We have more ladies serving than men. Because these men are out there. They're looking for the Gen Xers, so that they say, we will give through our wives, through our children, but they're not there. They're not seen. So this Gen Z child has grown up seeing the one who takes them to church is who? Their mom. So if the Gen Z is a boy, they grow up knowing that church is not important. God is not important. So, and that is why they are saying, family, I'll think about it. Marriage, no. This is the word that they use. Marriage is a scam.
Wow.
Yeah. They say marriage is a scam because they have not seen it. They've not seen, like you and I, Victor, we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, we saw our parents, go through very tough seasons, but they were together. You know, I have seen my dad and mom fight, verbally and, exchange words, but they fought in it together. So you see, for me, it gives a quote unquote as a millennial resilient that marriage has to work. But that is why when you go for marriage conferences, most of the conferences, you'll see baby boomers who are the mentors and mostly millennials, because they're saying this thing has to work.
Isn't this a crisis coming up?
It is a serious crisis coming up, my brother.
Because how are relationships going to work in the future? And right now, when you look at it, I mean, let's talk. Having a functional marriage is becoming more rare than actually having a marriage that does not work.
Yes.
Or even a parental relationship that is functional. That's becoming pretty rare.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is it simply because of that apathy? They just don't like it. It's just not fashionable anymore? Or is there some hurt that is being carried down?
There's an aspect of hurt because lessons are more caught than taught. What do I mean? I usually say this to men. Manhood is more caught than taught. My son, your son, will grasp what manhood is by seeing from you, modeling. So he catches it more than if you sit down with him and tell him, son, this is how you live out your manhood. He will never, that will come from here and come out from here. But if he sees you loving on his mom, if he sees you praying, if he sees you broken before God, oh, my brother, you don't have to work hard. Because he sees, because you see, when children are growing up, their number one heroes are their dads. So yes, there's an aspect of wounds, but there's also aspect of modeling. We have not modeled to them. So that crisis is coming because what has modeled for the Gen Zs is media and peers. That's what has modeled for them. Parents haven't, especially dads. Yes, especially dads. We've not modeled to them what it is, to be a godly man.
So what does it look like? Is this what they call daddy issues now?
This is what they call daddy issues. It's just it's an outward appearance, but it's actually the absence of fathers.